This is Bob Rorlach with the Greater Tampa Chamber of Commerce, and I want to thank you for viewing our videos on the 2018 Candidate Interview Series. At the Chamber, our mission is to serve our members and enhance our community by building business success. We think these interviews and working with our key partners, those who serve an elective office, is an important way for our members and the community at large to be informed voters in the process as we work in our democracy. We're asking candidates to meet with us and talk about where they stand on the business issues. We're excited today to have Sky White, who is running for County Commission District 7 at large with us today. Thank you for joining us, Sky.
Thank you for inviting me.
We're going to dive right into questions shortly, but I want to give you a second to have an opportunity to briefly introduce yourself in 30 seconds or less and tell us why you are running for office.
Well, my name is Sky White, running for District 7. I work as a nurse full-time, but I'm also a local community activist and a working mother. I'm the founder and the program director of Relocation Tampa, which Relocation Tampa has been incepted since 2015. My work in the community is what's led me to run for public office. I found that a lot of times, many of the things that we try to do in the community, we're limited to because we're not the ones making the decision. It's usually your public officials. And just going back and forth with our local government is what's really frustrated me, as well as my other local community organizers, and that's what's caused me to run for office.
Okay, great, thank you. Okay, let's dive into our questions. The business community is desperate for a plan to address transportation in Tampa Bay and Hillsborough County. However, the political will from our elected officials has been non-existent. Currently, there is a proposed plan for the Regional Transit Feasibility Study that identified bus rapid transit as the catalyst project and one option, not the only option, to help move the needle. Specifically, do you support the bus rapid transit concept that is proposed? If not, what alternative plan would you propose and how would you fund it?
I do support the bus rapid transit concept. I'm not very happy about the impact that it would still have on our environment. It is a start for us to get going for now, but we definitely have to move towards light rail. That is a must. And if we don't get started now, right now I have a 14-year-old, then he won't have light rail by the time that he becomes my age. And at that time, we expect to have over 800,000 people in Hillsborough County. So right now we're in a do or die situation. Bus rapid transit is a great start, but we have to continue to move forward to light rail.
Okay, very good. Sticking with transportation, there's a grassroots effort to secure enough signatures to get a referendum on the ballot for a sales tax increase to fund transportation and transit in Hillsborough County. Do you support a 1-cent sales tax to fund mass transit and road projects? If not, how do you suggest we pay for the many transportation needs we have?
As much as we don't like to hear sales tax increase, that seems to be a very dirty word now, it is what is needed. Hillsborough County is growing. 1.4 million residents, and if anyone's traveled to another big city, for example, San Antonio, they have a sales tax of 8.25%. Their school systems are not lacking like ours. I agree with the sales tax only if it also includes money that is going to our education. Teachers can get raises and our schools can be repaired and taken care of adequately. That is the only how I would agree with the sales tax.
Okay, that's a good segue. Our next question is about education. Hillsborough County Public Schools have made great strides in recent years to erase the deficit, rank as one of the top large school districts in the country, and increase graduation rates specifically for minority students. It's critical for the business community that our school system is producing talent for tomorrow, but funding remains a challenge. How would you work with the school board and the superintendent to make sure our schools have the resources needed to handle growth in Hillsborough County?
Definitely the sales tax. We need more funding for our schools. With Hillsborough County's growth, new development on almost every corner, especially here in South County, our community is becoming more condensed. And we don't have not only enough schools, but the schools that we do have are not properly taken care of. My son, 14 years old, he's a public school student, a STEM kid. He was also at one of the schools that didn't have air conditioning for almost a year. So we need a way to fund our schools, pay our teachers an adequate pay, it would be with the sales tax. As much as we don't like to hear it, we're stuck between a rock and a hard plate, but we have to pay for a better community and county. And that's the only way that we can come up with the funds. I believe the sales tax is estimated to bring at least $78 million more into Hillsborough County. If we can split that between transportation and our schools, then hopefully we can chip away at that deficit.
Okay, very good. Let's move on to another topic. Let's talk about baseball. A ballpark in the urban core has the potential to be a commerce driver, much like the Tampa Bay Lightning and Amalie Arena has been. Do you support the Ybor site that has been identified by the county and the Tampa Bay Rays? If elected, what is your vision for financing a ballpark in Ybor?
Well, when I'm elected, I'm definitely going to be a very active county commissioner, and that is the key. You have to be active in the community that you're representing. I would have reached out to that community first, had several town hall meetings, several meetings with the civic associations, and had them let me know what they feel would be the pros and cons of moving the stadium there. I don't think that it's a good idea for any elected official to change the community that they're not residing in. I don't agree with the stadium. I believe that that should have been a decision made by the people who live in that community.
Okay, all right, good. As we wrap up, we want to prioritize your goals if elected. The funding pie is only so big, and it's difficult to fund everything. Plus, the potential homestead exemption increase, if passed, could have a big impact on local government spending. We've mentioned 3 areas where funding is needed: transportation, schools, and the Rays ballpark. Can you prioritize the order in which you would fund them, or other priorities you have that we didn't discuss today?
Those are 3 very important things. Transportation is a big issue. It is the priority issue right now. And if we don't have adequate transportation, then we cannot get to our jobs. We cannot get our children to the schools where they need to go. For example, I live in South County. My son was accepted into Jefferson, but dealing with traffic, I told him, no, you're going to have to go to your local school so that we're not continuing to wake up at 4:30 in the morning to get you to school in time at 7:30. Transportation would be priority, tied in with education, and then we would talk about all the other issues after.
Okay, very good. Where can voters go to learn more about your campaign and your position on the issues most important to them?
They can go to my website at www.skyuwhite.com.
All right, very good. On behalf of the 1,400 members of the Greater Tampa Chamber of Commerce and our board of directors, I want to thank you for joining us today and your willingness to serve in elected office. This concludes the candidate interview, and thank you for being here.
Thank you. Have a good day.